Hi there, boys and girls. Good to see you again for another phonics lesson. Today we're going to be talking about a new digraph. We've already learned some digraphs in school like TH, SH, WH, CH. We learned all of those in school, but today we're going to learn a new one, and that is PH. Now, something interesting about PH is that we know that P says P and H says H, but with a digraph, if you remember from when we learned about them in school, a digraph is two letters that stick together to make one sound. And this one sound that PH is going to make is not going to say P, and it's not going to say H. You know that sometimes our language, I used to say it all the time, sometimes our English language is just tricky. So now, what we're going to learn today is that when PH are together, they are going to stick together to make the F sound. Let's take a look at our poster to see an example. We have a little girl on her cell phone. Now, phone, if you listen to that word, phone, it sounds like there should be an F in the beginning of the word. However, it is our digraph PH. So let's look at our poster, and I want you to repeat after me. We say PH, phone, repeat, PH, phone. Now, there are a ton of examples, and we're going to go over some of them together, but I want you to realize that when you come across a P and an H together in the words you read, now you're going to know not to say P, not to say H, but to blend it together and make it say the F sound. So let's take a look at some examples. The first one that we have here is pictures, or what you can also call photos. Photos. So let's tap this out. We know that PH says F, long O says O, T says T, long O says O. Blend that together. Photo. Photo is our first example. Let's do another one. We just talked all about these in math. We learned all about how to create graphs. So graph is another one that has PH at the end of the word. So let's tap out the word graph. We know GR says GR, short A says A, PH says F. Blend that. Graph. Graph. Let's try another one. If you win in a competition, you might get a trophy. Trophy is our next word. Trophy. You hear that in the middle of the word. We know that TR says ter, long O says O, PH says F, and Y equals E says E. Blend that together. Trophy. Trophy. Next one, you might see these in your yard. It is a gopher. Gopher. We know that G says G, long O says O, PH says F, ER says Blend that together. Gopher. Gopher. What we're working on right now is actually a PH digraph, and that is phonics. Phonics in the beginning of the word. We know PH says F, short O says A, N says N, short I says I, C says K, and S says S. Blend that. Phonics. Phonics. You might see this animal in the ocean, and it is a dolphin. Dolphin. We know that D says D, short O says A, L says L, PH says F, short I says I, N says N. Blend that together. Dolphin. Dolphin. Next, we have a picture of a ball, but a ball is round, and we can call it a sphere. Little tricky to say that one. Say it with me. Sphere. Sphere. We know that S says S, PH says F, long E says E, R says and we have a silent E at the end. Blend that together. Sphere. Sphere. Next one. Might see these at the zoo. A big, large elephant. Elephant. We know that short E says eh, L says ul, short E says eh, PH says f, A says a, N says n, T says t. Blend that together. Elephant. Elephant. Next one. You learned these back in kindergarten, and that's your alphabet. Alphabet has that PH. We know that short A says a, L says ul, PH says f. Short A says a, B says b, short E says eh, and T says t. Blend that together. Alphabet. Alphabet. Next one, looks like a rock star, and he's using a microphone to sing. So we have that word phone just like we did in our poster card. But the word microphone is a big long word that has our PH digraph as well. Let's sound this out. We know it's a long one. We know that M says long I says I, CR says cur, long O says O, PH says f, long O says O, N says N, and we have a silent E. Blend that together. Microphone. Microphone. And the last one, another word that has that phone at the end, you might wear these to listen to music, and that is headphones. Headphones, another long one. Tap it out with me. We know that H says E, A says E, D says D, PH says f, long O says O, N says N, and a silent E and an S says S. Blend that together. Headphones. Headphones. Now these are just some of many examples, but I just wanted to explain and show this to you so that we can now practice our PH digraph while we read. So as always, you are going to get a puzzle today, and I'm going to read that with you. And you want to point out all of those PH words that are in the puzzle, and then make a list underneath, as we always do. So let's look at our puzzle for today. I'm going to read it through one time, which means you read it 2 more times on your own. So let's begin. I grab the phone. It is Joseph. He tells me he got an A in math. Then he tells me about a graph he did in class. Last, he tells me he won a trophy for doing so well in math. Good job, Joseph. And that is our puzzle for today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about our PH digraph saying please just reach out and let me know. As always, I hope that you're doing well, and I miss you guys greatly. And I will see you next time. Bye, boys and girls.